guys, once again, my name is Steve Oxshire with Good Life Fitness and Intensive Boot Camps. I'm excited today to offer another inspirational testimonial here today, guys. I'm here today with our 12-week grand champion winner, Joey Mumaugh. Joey has a very inspirational story that we're going to share with you guys today, and I'm excited to welcome Joey.
Thank you.
Joey's transformation here, guys, is in his 12-week, he was our grand champion. In his first 12 weeks here, guys, his results were just amazing. He kind of set the ground here for our very first transformation challenge that we had here, and has went ahead and has inspired so many people with his personal transformation, his testimonial, and we're going to hear a little bit about that today, guys, and so sit back and enjoy. Joey, can you share a little bit about your beginning and your start before you came to Good Life Fitness? Maybe what your transformation journey's been, where you come from, and if you could share a little bit of that past with everybody today.
Sure. Back in 2004, I was working out at Gold's Gym, and then a mutual friend had introduced Steve to me. And we kind of had started doing some training then. We did that for a couple years, I believe. And during that time at Gold's, we did a lot of cardio, a lot of weightlifting. Not so much focused on the diet. It was just more being active. And through that process there, I lost probably around 75 to 80 pounds. And during that time, I'd finished school, I'd got a new job, I'd moved across town. Just the excuses started piling on, where I just kind of stopped going to the gym altogether. And then, fast forward a few years, a couple years ago, my wife became pregnant. We were doing the grown-up thing and getting life insurance. And we were going through the whole process of filling the paperwork out, doing the blood draws, just the normal process of getting life insurance. So it was actually 4 days after my oldest son, Brecken, was born, I'd got a call from the life insurance company saying, hey, you need to go to the doctor right away. And that time of my life was, very different. If you're a father or a mother, you understand that you're on cloud nine, you're tired, you're just going through all these emotional roller coasters. And I remember getting that phone call and driving and just being like, what do you mean? You can't just call someone and be like, hey, you need to go to the doctor. And then the person from the life insurance company told me that they can't give me too many details due to laws and regulations. And it's just like, you're talking about my life, you can't do that. And then, I told the guy, I'm like, dude, you have to give me a little more information. Do I need to go to the emergency room right now, or am I going to be okay till Monday? Because he called me on a Saturday, and he said, you're fine. He's like, you're not going to die in the next 24 hours. You definitely get to the doctor right away on Monday. Wow. Well, luckily I had a doctor's appointment scheduled for that Monday. It just had to be a coincidence. The insurance company had forwarded the information to my doctor, and then when I got there, he's like, I think you have type 2 diabetes, and we basically confirmed it. And I remember that time, I was sitting after it was during lunch, and I had went to the appointment, and I found out, I just sat in my car, and I just remember thinking, like, I was in a way kind of relieved, because when you get a phone call like that, you have so many things run through your head, and it's hard when
that's right.
It's hard to process all that information, knowing that you have a brand new kid at home that
I think that honestly that's what makes it so powerful, man, is that like he's here. I mean, it's I see other people's lives besides yours, that especially that little guy that little ones are waiting for you and dependent on you, and I think that's the true picture, that it's we're here not just for ourselves but for others in that family.
Yes, it was relieving and it was hard at the same time, because you knew what you had faced. It could be 10 times worse. And my family had a history of diabetes, so it wasn't something that was, so far off where, you're just completely oblivious to it. So after that, it was kind of, you start on your medication and you kind of have to get a game plan. And for me, it was just, I wanted to understand type 2 diabetes as much as I could. So I read all kinds of things, and actually that's kind of the worst thing that you can do, because I remember researching it online. I read a couple books, and then the one night, it was right before I started here, I just was like, I put that book down, I'm like, that reading all that information, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna die the next 48 hours. It wasn't that, obviously it wasn't that bad, but when you read all the information, it talks about all the just horrible things that can happen to you and your body if you don't take care of it with type 2 diabetes. I just basically said enough was enough. I'd seen a little success with some of the medication. It was kind of, you start the journey of, trying to eat better and that type of stuff. And then when we came here, I actually came here once and Liza was my teacher. And I walked out of here and I called my wife and said, I'm never coming back here again. That was the craziest thing I had ever done. But, a lot of people will say that about Liza's class. But, I know the next morning I woke up and I stood out of bed and I honestly could barely move. You're just in so much, your body's in so much shock where you're just, it's hard when you haven't lifted and done any type of exercise, and then you come in here and it's a total different experience. And like I always tell everyone else that asks about this process, the first week is definitely the hardest, and after that it just gradually got easier and easier. Class definitely isn't the easiest, but my body is used to it. I don't wake up and feel like I'm 95 years old. So through that whole process, me and my wife were coming. We kind of had talked about doing the challenge, and then I told her that I'm not doing the challenge. I knew she was going to try enter the competition, and I was just like, I'm not going to do it. When you're overweight like that, you have a lot of self-esteem problems, and I just didn't, the pictures terrified me. I didn't want anybody to see that. I did not want anybody to know that number on the scale. And actually my wife kind of made me, and we got going and got going really well. And during that 12 weeks, it was with having that baby at home, and us being being here, you naturally try to eat healthy. And I think that whole process, the most important thing was just learning how to eat again. I think there's a lot of mental things that you have to go through, because like I know, for example, I always why do I always overeat? Why do I just have to eat every single thing on my plate? I can never say, here, take my plate, I'm done. I could never do that. And I'm not saying this is the only reason, but one of the things that, kind of came up, kind of investigating into myself a little bit was my family we never liked leftovers. And I always remember my mom saying, we have 3 boys in our family, and, when you have 3 boys, you have 3 kids, that kids can pack some food away. And my mom was always, let's get rid of this. Keep eating. And I think part of that is, it was just an example where, I don't do that anymore. I don't listen to my head when I eat food, and that's the hardest thing to do. Is you got to listen to your stomach, and if your stomach's full, and you got to stop. You got to learn how to push the plate away, and that type of stuff. We're definitely not perfect by any means. We still like to have pizza, like to take the kids out and stuff like that. But it's, we don't, when I walk into a restaurant, I know what I can and can't have, and I know what adds, a bunch of other calories to things. Right. Like deep dish pizza alone adds an extra 1,000 calories to your meal. It's just little facts like that, that if you combine all those into, your journey and just learning about it, it's amazing, how much weight you can lose. Yep. So, that's
a good point. I mean, in your journey, what I thought was so inspiring was, that in his transformation of 12 weeks, guys, I mean, he dropped 73 pounds, and it was 54 pounds of fat and 10 pounds of muscle tissue. What I thought was very inspiring about that, guys, though, is that what means and ways that he did to get that sort of a transformation was not by desperate things. It was not a starvation diet, was not a starvation, and a lot of people get that perception when you see major transformations, big weight losses. I think they think that's a lot of times that, they had to starve those people, or they just, they had to do so many things that were so brutal to them. And that was what inspired me about Joey's transformation. That was not done by that at all. Talk a little bit about, your success with fighting this disease of diabetes.
Sure. I'll have to point out one of my favorite moments was after I won that challenge, and it was actually one of Liza's class. We were running laps, and I got to the point where I think everyone gets to a point where you just love boot camp. You hate it, but the other time you just can't get enough of it. And I remember I was carrying we were running laps with medicine balls, and I had two 15-pound medicine balls. And I just remember being so mad at myself because I wasn't running as fast as I could. And then I was on the backside right by that stop sign, and it dawned on me, it's like, I carried more of this weight around my entire life, and now that's, that weight is gone. But after winning that competition, that was a big thing. That was, the one, I don't think I've ever won anything like that in my entire life. So that was very, very emotional time. It was very cool. And then, the diet always continued. And then about probably 6-7 months ago, I went to the doctor, and my A1C, when I originally started, was at 12%. So that they take an average, your A1C is the average of your sugars through a 3-month period. And 12%, I believe, is anywhere from about 325 to 360, for a sugar score, which is ridiculously high. And that last one was 5.6, when in the range that, the insurance company doctors want is right around the 6. So we dropped my medication.
Wow.
One of the reasons also for dropping was my sugars were getting too low, or my body was actually, there wasn't 12 Snickers and 2 cases of Pepsi in me. My body could get rid of the sugar that I had without doing any of the medication. And now, it's been a few months. I don't have any problems. I go to the doctor regularly. We still test my sugars, but they're perfectly in line. I don't have any cholesterol issues or anything like that. And now it's just, the journey's not finished. I've come a long way. I still would like to lose another, probably 40 to 45 pounds. But now I kind of change focus a little bit. I like to lift weights a little bit more, get a little bit stronger, and I'm training for the half marathon, so that's new and exciting. And I think the whole thing about this journey is, it makes you think about, the things that, 3 years ago, I would have never, if you would have said I'm training for the half marathon, I'd been like, you're nuts. My Saturdays are filled with sitting on the couch watching football and not missing 1 second of any minute game, whether it's, who's playing. I'm going to make sure I'm watching it. But now it's totally the opposite. Even our family, we don't watch a lot of TV. We're always playing. Me and my wife have, a family schedule. We have a workout schedule. And it really makes it a lot easier when you have a support system, with my family being on board, and especially here. I think that's the best thing about this gym is you can put one comment on Facebook about not feeling like going to the gym, and you're going to have 110 people pounce on you to make sure you're at the gym.
Yep.
And things like that are just, they're invaluable. We always talk about the 10th person, and that comes in so many forms here, and that's so helpful, when times where you're just like, I'm not feeling it. But, it's things like that make this gym great and make me, want to be here forever. I would never give up this experience for anything.
That is awesome. And the main focus, guys, as well, knowing that over 20 million people suffer from type 2 diabetes, and my fear with it. And our biggest focus, guys, is knowing that, you know, a proper education of the nutrition with our Shred Nutrition program, our nutritionists that are here on staff to help you guys with that. What's kind of unique about our program too, guys, and I think it's what's made Joey such an amazing inspiration to me and so many others, is that I consider him to be a master. You know, a master is an individual that has maintained a transformation for over 1 year. It's been over a 2-year journey now with Joey's transformation, and he's come a long ways. And like he said, the journey will never finish. It'll keep going. But what has inspired me as well is that he is on staff here as well. He is one of our instructors. He is also part of our Jungle Boot Camp program. He also teaches a youth fitness program at a church here in town, guys, which is very inspiring as well, just to knowing that his knowledge, his experience is helping others with their journey of fitness from our youth on up. But we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, guys, his overall transformation. These numbers are just going to blow you away. From the period of time that he's been here, we were kind of visiting about, you know, 160 to 175 total pounds lost. That's actually more than me sitting here at a 156 light body weight. He's lost more than me sitting here in his transformation journey. He's lost over 18 pant sizes in a period of time. It's just been unbelievable, guys. And my goal, hopefully, as well, guys, that you find some piece of what we've offered today that will inspire you to start looking a little bit more in depth on your own fitness and maybe get started on your fitness journey. If you guys are interested in it all, coming in, forming a consultation with any one of us to help you, sign up below here, guys, for a free 1-week pass to Good Life Fitness and Intensive Boot Camps. They choose over 118 fitness classes a week, a full staff full of personal trainers and nutritionists that are here to help you guys. And thank you for joining us today, and we'll hope to see you soon.